Okay, starting off with a really quick update this morning on my tree. So here's my Red Delicious tree. I did some pruning on it to kind of encourage just these two grafts to be the main scaffold branches up here. And I left this kind of a little bit of growth right here to see if it wanted to try to take off into something eventually out in this direction. Um, and you can see it's been about a week and a half, and I have some new growth starting here. So hopefully that'll actually also end up turning into more fruit buds on this. It's one of the reasons I pruned it, plus it was getting kind of long. So lots of new growth there on that. Over here on my pink lady, I had trimmed it down as well, got rid of this big branch that was growing right here. I got rid of the apple that was on that branch just because it, you know, looked kind of sad with some either mold or insect bites on it. So I just pruned that off, and then I just got rid of the whole branch so that this one here would have a lot more sunlight. And I left the entirety of its branch. I didn't prune it at all. So it's getting all the energy coming down into it so it can grow and get nice and sweet. And if you'll notice, there is a little bit of new growth here that's starting. I'm leaving that because my plan is to make this the main branch, hopefully coming out in the direction towards me here, and then pruning this branch off once this apple is done this year. And otherwise, this one also has new growth growing on it, so very happy with that. I am, well, I should say that I have ordered some spreading devices to kind of open the center up a little bit more on these. And I have to decide this winter if I want to prune out one of these branches, because there are 5 in here, or 6. So you know, that could be a little bit of a spacing issue as it grows. But I'm definitely not pruning any of the branches with my grafts on them right now. They're doing really well. I'm just leaving them until the end of the year so they can get nice and strong. And yeah, that's kind of like the perfect V shape that you would want for 2 buds growing on a graft. And then here is one of my grafts here. I pruned to the best leader that was on there. We had 2 growing, and they were really too close together. It would just throw wood on the crotch of the graft, and yeah, that wouldn't have been good. It would have split eventually. So I did these a little later than those behind me, but you can see new growth's already starting here. And I also wanted to take the stress off, since it's still just, a couple months old on the graft union. I don't want it to be sitting there having to try to support 2 really large branches this early on, especially if we get like really windy. We've had a lot of storms lately, so just tried to prune that out. I pruned my Arkansas black apple and got it all nice and ready to start trying to put some fruit buds down. So that's the main goal of pruning at this time of year, is to force these to start making some fruit buds. You'll get more summer extension growth, but it'll kind of limit a little bit what's going on next year. So, and you can see my graft here is doing well. And so these 3 right here did the same exact thing. I pruned off the branch that wasn't as upright, and also pruned off the tops of these branches that I left. So they'll become the main core of the tree, and eventually I'll have branches growing off of them. And then another one that's pretty well spaced, but those spreaders will come in handy here, is my Golden Delicious. I did go ahead and just snip off where that graft was there. It was the graft had calloused over really nice, but it just wasn't putting on any growth, and it had no more buds. All the buds were dead, so it wasn't going to do anything. So I'll just probably end up grafting some next year onto this tree. And then if we turn over here, you can see my nectarines and peaches. I got rid of a lot of growth on these, and this will help it to try to make fruit spurs on the first year wood here. And there'll also be some decent summer growth. It's already starting. I pruned these like a week later, and there's already growth going on here. Yeah, it doesn't want to focus on it, but yeah, see, there it is. Here's the one little tree where the graft failed on it, so I just let the original rootstock grow, and then I'll try to graft onto that later this year. My Liberty has sent out a lot of good shoots, and they're really well spaced out. I'm really happy about that. So I think, you know, there'll be some good branches. This is my one peach on this tree, and it has no leaves near it, so it's not getting any energy except for these. So I left this unpruned here, yeah, mostly. I did prune the tips a little bit, but yeah, it's nice and red already. It's getting a lot of sun since I opened it up. And then you can see the peach here, nectarine, my Granny Smith apple. It's putting a lot of good growth here. These have a lot of new growth starting at the tips over here ever since I pruned them. And I cut this down. It was like, you know, basically like this with its 2 leaders. So I just got rid of one of them, and I left a lot of the branching. I didn't prune any of the branching on this, so I'm gonna top it at the end of the year, and then yeah, it'll be good to go. And that'll thicken up and develop into a nice stock of it. So anyway, that is my update for today, June the 19th. And oh yeah, my grapes are starting to change colors, so you know, we'll see how that goes. All right, I gotta wrap this up, heading to the store.